Alright, so the day is Monday, May 14th, 2018, and I just wanted to give a little update to her. There's not too much going on besides just plants growing as much as they can. We haven't had rain for a while, so there's lots of green, but a lot of things are starting to wilt a little bit just from lack of moisture. But I guess first things first, this area, I think my neighbor cleaned it up a bit, so a lot of the seeds that I spread here will not get to come to fruition, but that is okay. There's still a little bit of value here. There's some lamb's quarter, which is edible, which is good to eat. There's also some greenbrier. Let's see if we can do some wild foraging. So I did plant this this lamb's quarter. It was some of the seed that I spread out, and it's good feedback to see that that's, you know, one of the guys that can survive. Here's some stuff I planted. What is this? This is a mustard, maybe? No, not sure what that is, but it's definitely some kind of collard or something like that. Pretty sure it came from the seed that I broadcast out here. Other than that, there are always the greenbrier vines, which you can just kind of snap off the tender tops and eat those as well. I learned that recently. It's good to know that they're good for something other than being thorny and obnoxious. So I had some help out here, and we cleaned out the wood chips to kind of make way for the new fence. Let me actually go over here and just give a nice shot of this new fence line that we put in. Goes all the way, it's about 120 feet would be my guess. And so it's going to come across right here, and this is going to be the wood chip bay, or just the dumping bay. When I have wood chips or logs delivered, they'll go here, and then the gate will be about there, and it'll curve around and meet on the other side. So that's kind of in my plan for today, is putting in the rest of the fence posts so that the concrete can be dry to finish the fence. Hopefully there's a 55% chance of rain on Wednesday, and we really need it. I'm really grateful that I didn't trim this area more, just because that shade is so vital to keeping moisture in the soil, and I really don't have a purpose for this space yet. And so that's something, it's good advice, I guess, is don't ever cut more than you're ready to use, right? In terms of clearing land, it's always good to go in phases. When you're ready to do something to a space, then go in and do your clearing. So I'll probably leave that space like it is for probably the rest of the year. The potentials for this space are either like an annual garden bed. There's lots of potentials, but this could be the house space if I'm ever to build some kind of house on this property, as well as annual garden bed space. It gets a fair amount of sunlight, and it would already have some decent soil that I could work with. Honeysuckles are blooming. That's another fun wild foraging item that I have out here. I'm making a list, and it'll be a fun list to kind of see once I'm done with it, but just all the things that are already out here ready to forage, ready to eat. It's kind of fun to see what nature provides on its own. So this place is still a mess, but the shed is going in. It is really not a fun project, and I don't regret it, but I would not recommend it to anyone else, or at least for myself personally. I feel like I could have built a custom shed, maybe out of earthen material, for probably a quarter of the price and probably in half the time. This kind of shed absolutely requires 2 people to build. I thought I could get away with doing it myself, but the way I do things out here, it's really hard being dependent upon other people. But I am grateful I've been getting lots of help. That's nice. In fact, this whole area of wood chips, I did not spread any of that. That was all done by some friends that came and helped, so that's great. This area is ready for potentially some new tree seeds to go in, or just little patches. What I'll do is I'll dig into the wood chips to try and get them closer to the ground soil, put some compost in the hole, and then plant whatever I want to plant in there. So this is a nice space that I can do some planting in soon. I still have yet to do my mushroom logs, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So hopefully they will, I'll get to that project soon, and hopefully I'll have some help for that. So all these little bare root saplings are doing well. It looks like, it's funny, in my first video I think I said like 60% survived. It looks about 99% survived as of yet, right? So far, just about all of them have leafed out. There was some even that I thought were dead and are just now peeking out. So yeah, they all, it looks like just about all of them have leafed out, and so they're all planted really thick, and it'll be a really good learning experience just to see which ones survive, and just to see that process of competition. As well, all the broadcast seed that I put on this bed, you know, there was a lot of competition there, and it's been really informative to learn, you know, what has survived. And I'm going to be collecting that seed, or at least, you know, even if I don't collect it, that seed will be what drops again. And you know, because I'm not irrigating, because I'm not out here all the time to take care of these plants, I want the seed that can survive on its own, and that's what I'm getting here. And so I really love getting this feedback, seeing the differences. You know, that area obviously gets a little bit of shade. It also, I think the water tends to slope down to this half, so a little bit more moisture, a little bit more shade. Seeing what that does in terms of growth is interesting, as well as there's a log that kind of catches runoff. So kind of observing all the factors that lead to more growth in some areas, and things like that. A big thing, and this was something that I kind of knew would happen, but I wanted to really see it, is what happens when you have too much competition. You know, the plants kind of all starve each other, and that's a very interesting and important principle to understand. At the same time though, having all that organic matter there, you know, them starving each other, is the things that it accomplished is, one, it's going to help shade out the soil. All right, it did a decent job of that. You could say that if they were a little bit more spread out, they would still do that job, and that's probably true. But again, it's not a waste. It's going to feed the soil, and it's going to shade the soil, and I learned from it. That's the most important thing for me. And yeah, just seeing the difference of, you know, just what this log catching this little bit of water and having the space to grow, and it can look like this instead of like that. So very interesting, lots of learning. Again, the beautiful fence that is just put in, very happy about that. And so the one other thing that I wanted to say about this space, that I really appreciate, that I've kind of enjoyed seeing and learning, is how well the peas have done. I don't know the variety. These are just kind of a, I guess some kind of sugar snap, some kind of snap pea, right? And there's lots of them, and we did push them into the ground, so they had that advantage of actually being planted in soil. But just cool, you know, seeing it is a legume, and when you give them the chance to climb, they will climb. And yeah, it's cool seeing how well they have done in essentially dirt. This is, I didn't do anything to this soil. It just came from on either side. So, you know, you can see from what's next to it, there was not much of like a fertile topsoil layer. Now it is good dirt or good soil in that it's I guess a good loam might be the word, but it's got a good mixture of clay and sand, and yeah, good consistency. So it has that going for it. It's decently well drained, but in terms of fertility, not so great. So I will definitely be doing a lot more legumes in the future, just to help rebuild the soil. All right, and so right here I have some wood chips that need moving. My horse manure compost pile has shrunk, and Z is out with me today, just hanging out. The wood chip guys said they had some logs and wood chips to dump, and I did not realize what they meant when they said logs, so those will be interesting trying to move those. We'll see. As far as these wood chips, you know, they'll kind of go around. I have some spreading some over there. There's lots of poison ivy and stuff that just needs to be covered, so they might end up kind of in the tangled area, the overgrown area, but as well potentially just this whole space will kind of convert into garden space, at least for this year. I do have different plans for the future, but I don't plan on mowing the grass, so wood chips will be helpful with that. I love these white clovers. These were already here. I did try and plant a clover mix, and I'll definitely try and do that again. I didn't give them the seeds enough of an advantage, but I still have some of those seeds. So, but the bees have loved these clovers, and I really love them. I think they're way more beautiful than a grass cover, so it'll be interesting. I don't know how long they last, like if they die back in the summer, or what their season is like, so that'll be interesting. But very, very thick, very cool stuff. This garden bed is going to seed, going to flower, but there's still lots of stuff to eat. But as you can see, the arugula was the first to shoot up, and if you haven't tried arugula flower, it's a good one to eat. Tastes like the leaves. It has that kind of almost bitter spiciness, but it has a sweetness as well from the flowers. So those are really good in salads, and you know, I'll eat some of them, but I do want to collect this seed. I'm really excited about having lots and lots of arugula seed, as well as mustard is now doing its thing, so that's exciting. A lot of stuff is getting pretty wilty. Again, this whole space is, I have not watered it, so it's all from the rain. And so you can see just the amazing benefits of covering the soil, in terms of, you know, the plants are covering the soil. I do have, you know, this is all the composted horse manure, which is really good stuff, but yeah, it really is beneficial just to totally shade the soil, protect the life, lock in the moisture, all those good things. I got a lamb's quarter hiding in here. I just saw a sunflower, but then I lost it. Where did it go? Well, is this it? I think this is a sunflower. It looks like the onion is also going to flower and going to seed, which will be fun just to collect onion seed. I also have wild onions that are going to seed that I want to collect the seeds on that too. I still have yet to collect any snap peas, but look, there's a flower. I haven't, you know what, and I bet I haven't really been checking them, so I bet there are some that I just haven't found yet. But lots of arugula flower. The potatoes are rocking it. So far, no sweet potatoes have come up. I don't really know what the timing is for that. It's the first time I've grown them, so maybe they just are waiting for it to get hot, or maybe it's already too hot. I don't know. But you can see the potatoes are all doing really well. And then this is my new garden bed, where I just buried a bunch of seeds, and it's rocking it. It's going to be so exciting to see what survives in this garden bed, because that's what I want out here. I want the seeds that can survive. I'm not trying to baby anything. Some potato flowers, it's pretty. I'm trying to see what can make it on its own. So that's the mission, and yeah, it's really cool. Already getting so much feedback. So, fun stuff. I'll show you over here. I got a couple plants. They were like half-gallon pots for like $3 each. They were on sale at Lowe's, and this is a raspberry and a blackberry. The raspberry, it has not really changed much since I've planted it. The blueberry is looking a lot healthier. It's looking great. So I think, you know, this gets a little bit more sun, and all I did to plant these, I added a little bit of soil around what they already had, and I just put them straight on top of the surface of the ground, and then I just put wood chips around them. So very simple, and then I have not watered them since I did that. So we'll see what happens. If they die, they die, but I really don't think they will. I think they're gonna do all right. This blueberry had some blueberries already on it, and that one's almost ready to pick. So I'm excited for that. Want to get lots more of that kind of stuff out here. Let's see. I don't know what else to show. Well, here's lots of poison ivy, but also some greenbrier that's edible, and then some wild onion that's edible. You can eat the flowers. They're very tasty. The puppies are always here hanging out. This wild cherry is gonna have some fruit. I'm very curious. I have had some wild cherry in Michigan, and I know it's pretty tart and bitter, but it's just cool to see, you know, that was already here on the property, and it's cool to see what nature just will provide for on its own. All right, well, that's it for today's update. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the change. I, of course, enjoy seeing and learning so much from this process, and I will continue to learn, and I will continue to share. Peace.